Good morning again to all our listeners of HGG Radio. It is now 10:35 a.m. here inside the studios, and it is a beautiful, beautiful Thursday morning. Can I tell you, the week is moving by so quickly, but I'm giving God thanks because with the heat that we're feeling here in Edmonton, I'm looking forward to the weekend. I know that if we had the beach here in Edmonton, everybody would be heading to the beach on the weekend based on what is happening here with the weather. But we're still giving God all the glory, all the honor, and all the praise. We exalt him this morning. And I thank you all for jumping on. I see the US of A, I see Jamaica, I see Canada, and the UK. So to all the nations of the world that's here with me this morning on the Morning Flow, I say welcome to you. It is indeed an honor to have you share some of your time with me on the Morning Flow. We're about to start our segment, and that is Let's Talk Business. And you know, the businesses, the small businesses, they are the heartbeat of the community. And they are the glue that holds the community and the society together. It's not the big, massive companies that we see popping up all over, but it is the mom and the pop shops, those small ones that they are there through the thick and the thin. Those are the companies that are the heartbeat of any community. And right now, we're about to go live with one company that's here in Edmonton, Alberta, and that is ALLSTYLE Construction. It is a company that has been around for a few years, a number of years, and we thank God for longevity. Good morning, Stephanie. I always love when I see you jump on to our segments when we go live. I truly appreciate your presence. Good morning. I don't want anybody else to feel left out. So good morning to everyone else that's watching me on Facebook. As I mentioned, we're about to go live with the segment Let's Talk Business. And this morning we have with us the COO and partner of ALLSTYLE Construction. All right. And there he is. All right. So he's not seeing what I'm seeing and what you guys are seeing. But there we have Mr. Fitzroy Barnett, who is the COO and partner of in the company ALLSTYLE Construction. And we're so happy that he took some time out of his busy, can I tell you busy? Busy. When you get to pin this one down, you know. Oh my goodness, busy schedule. But I'm so happy that he's here with us this morning. And Sir Fitzroy, could you go ahead and just introduce yourself to our listeners?
My name is Fitzroy, part owner of ALLSTYLE Construction. So I'm just here this morning because Odette asked me to be here and I'm doing her a favor, right? So yes.
All right. And I know that all the listeners, I know you guys are cracking up because you're thinking to yourself that here is another one that she's going to say she's known for a long time. But yes, I've known Fitzroy since I've been here in Canada. So it's almost about 16 years going. Doesn't feel that way though, but you know what? I thank you for granting me this favor, sir.
No problem, Odette. Anything for you, Odette.
I thank you for coming on into Let's Talk Business. And so we're going to be talking to you this morning. And we know that owning and operating a business here in Canada, it's not as easy as it looks. It is a lot of hard work, and especially in the construction industry here in Alberta. And I know that many of our listeners may not understand how the different provinces operate. But Alberta in of itself is one that is, they call it a blue collar province. So it's a province that construction is consistently going on. And so to own and operate a construction company in this province, it is something that you have to put the work in and you have to build so that people will get to know your name. And I mentioned earlier that the small businesses are the heartbeat of any community, and All Style Construction, they have been around for quite a few years. And so we wanna big you up, guys. We wanna big up All Style Construction, because guess what? A lot of companies started the same time that you did, and they are no longer here. But you guys are here. You kept on going, and we thank God for that. So Stephanie says, "Good morning, Fitzroy."
Good morning, Stephanie. Good morning.
All right. So we're gonna get straight into our talk this morning. All right. So as I mentioned, All Style Construction, it's a construction company that's operating here in Edmonton, Alberta. And you know what? I'm not going to do that part. I'm going to allow you to speak about the company before we get into any questions. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about All Style Construction.
Right. So, All Style Construction. So, we started back in 2006 is when we got incorporated. So, the backstory is my history is I used to paint when I was like 14. I used to do fences and different things like that. And I was always like kind of painting on the side. I worked for different painting companies. Then I went off to school, did electronic engineering, kind of came back, and then I was working in the industry for actually an oil company in that field doing electronic engineering. And I kind of found out, I was like, you know what, this is kind of boring. So at the time, Clive was already, he started doing his, which is my partner there, Pastor Clive. So at the time he started doing like little jobs, like the basement developments and little cabinets on the side and different things like that. So at that time, he kind of approached me and he's like, you know what, let's kind of team up and do something. And I said, you know, the timing was right. I was young. I didn't really have much responsibility. So I said, you know what, let's go ahead and do that. And then, so we incorporated in 2006 and then just doing construction. So we started off doing basements and like residential renovations, literally anything pertaining to that. And then eventually, as the years went on, we started to branch on into commercial. So we get into like churches, and we do a lot of the big five banks like Scotia, BMO, RBC, CIBC, some TD stuff. So yeah, so pretty much that's what we do. So churches and banks, and then just commercial work. So that's kind of the main thing that we do now. That's our main focus. So.
Okay, wonderful. All right, so that's a little bit about the company, folks. As you listen here to Fitzroy Barnett, who is partner and co-owner with Clive Atkinson, and as you mentioned, Pastor Clive. And I just sent a greeting over to him. He's over there in Ontario. So I'm giving him another shout out. He's not here in Edmonton right now, so he has to be doubling up because of the many hats that he wears. So he's right now attending the Canada District Council Spring Conference. And I know that if he is able to, he is listening. So I want to say greetings and good morning to you, Pastor Clive, over there in Ontario. So we're talking to Fitzroy Barnett, who is co-owner of All Style Finishing, and he just told you a little bit about how the company started and what he started doing as a teenager. He started painting, and then it evolved into a partnership. And so a lot of persons, again, would not understand. I'm thinking because they're not here in Edmonton. As I said, there are many persons who are listening to this segment right now. But with regards to starting the business, when you guys decided to partner, why did you decide to open your own business? Because, I mean, you could have continued working for other persons, but why did you decide to open your own business?
Good question. So my father used to have, he used to do landscaping. So he used to he had his own equipment, and I'd go out with him, and I used to do the whole thing, deliver flyers and get work and that whole process. And it was a lot of work. But I also saw the benefits of it with, he'd have more of his own free time. He wasn't locked down to a certain position. He was always moving around. He would have his freedom to do what he had to do after. So, and I saw how much peace that brought him as well, too, because he worked in the hospital for many years, like majority of my life, he was in the hospital. So in his later years, he really wanted to be able to do his own thing. And I saw how much like satisfaction and joy that brought him. So I was like, you know what? So that kind of really intrigued me in business personally. So just being able to have that ability to kind of, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of hard work. So I always like use the analogy is when you have your own business or you're trying to be an entrepreneur, you're a hunter. So you have to go out every day. You got to wake up. You say, you know what, I'm going to go out and create. I'm going to go out and drum up this business. I'm going to get this job done. So it's easy. You could just say there, okay, I'm going to take the day off, but you're only really hurting yourself, right? So it's one of those things where that challenge is good as well too, because you're out, okay, the satisfaction of getting something, bringing something from nothing to completing and seeing the end results is very satisfying, especially when you're doing it for your own self. It creates that passion and that drive, right?
Okay, wonderful. All right. So you decided because you wanted to have that flexibility. All right. So, and I am leading into our next question. So, you alluded to some of it here when you just spoke, but what advantages do you see since you're now in operations for a few years? What are some of the advantages do you see in owning your own business?
There's many advantages because you control your own destiny, really and truly. So, um, actually, I heard this one entrepreneur. He was saying he was criticized because they were saying, "Why do you want to open your own business?" And he's like, there's more job security when you work for somebody. And his response, which I share a sentiment, he was like, well, it's crazy to allow my destiny to be controlled by somebody else. Because when you work for somebody, you're subject to how they feel, their temperament, and you have a bad day, they want to fire you, or if they're not running the business properly, then you could be out of a job. So just that whole mentality of being able to control your own destiny and being able to make things happen for yourself, being in the driver's seat, that's the big thing, right? So when you have your own business, you have the ability to kind of make things happen, pivot. If you have a dream, if you have a vision, you can work towards that when you have your own business. It gives you that flexibility. There are some tax benefits as well too, but the main thing is that you're able to do what you're really passionate about. If that makes sense.
Yes, it makes perfect sense. Not having someone uh, determine your destiny, but you're the master of your own fate, which leads me into this question. Okay, with all of that wonderful thing that you just said, what are some of the challenges, though, that you face uh, as a small business owner?
Uh, I said it, I kind of said it earlier, is like the ability that if just to wake up and be like, okay, I have to get this done. Sometimes we all have bad days where you're like, you know what, I want to call in sick, but when you have your own business, you don't really have that luxury, you don't really have the benefits of, times off, days off and stuff like that. So you really have to really push yourself when you don't feel like it. Also the drawbacks with businesses too is, especially if when you're starting out, a lot of times financially, it's very challenging. So it can be really hard just to even getting off the ground, just, whatever industry you're in, just getting off the ground, just be able to create your client base and having that understanding of how business works. So there's two sides to the business. There's running the business and there's operating in the business. So I think a lot of times people as entrepreneurs sometimes get caught up in operating in the business, like actually doing the physical work, and they're not able to spend enough time growing the business, right? So that becomes a challenge as well too. So that's where even like I partner with Clive, and we're able to kind of divide and conquer. So I kind of have my role and he has his role, and it works. But if you're just starting on your own and you're doing everything yourself, it could be a lot, it could be overwhelming. So I think the biggest thing is just being able to kind of have an idea of what you're getting into and kind of plan it out. But yeah, the main thing is getting started, right? Getting off the ground could be challenging at times and really discouraging and scary actually too, right? So.
All right. So there we have it, folks. There are challenges in operating your own business. I know I didn't tell you about this question, but I'm listening to you and I'm thinking that I need to throw this one in. We're living in Alberta, and to a lot of our listeners, all right, so you're a black business, you're a black owned business. So with regards to that part, are there any challenges that you face as a company because you're a Black owned business?
Sure. So, one of the challenges that I've experienced maybe earlier in the career is that when people realize that you are a Black owned business, or you're predominantly, or you're run and operated as a majority of the people that work there or run the company are Black. Sometimes the stigma is there, so you have to work a little extra harder and you have to execute flawlessly because people are not necessarily as forgiving or understanding, whatever the case may be. Is that you have to really excel. You have to really show why you're doing this and why you should be doing this, because that's the nature of it, right? Like, people are comfortable with what they're comfortable with. So if you come in as a all Black crew, or you're bidding on a job and they realize that everyone's Black, then they may not say anything, but you can kind of see the body language, or you can kind of see how they interact. And sometimes that's when you really have to step up and really show your professionalism and let them realize why you're suited to do the job. And a lot of times I find you have to prove yourself a lot more than if it was another nationality or whatever the case may be, is because there's not much businesses in this industry that are Black that are doing it, right? So at a higher level, right? So,
And I must say, hats off to All Style Finishing, All Style Construction, because you guys have been in the business for quite a while and you have maintained a level of excellence with regards to the jobs that you do, with regards to the clientele that you have, and you have repeat clients. I went onto your website, and folks, you can jump onto the website to see the company and what they have been doing. It is phenomenal work. It's beautiful work. And not only in the homes, because as Fitzroy said, that they had started out in basements, but now they are doing commercial stuff. So when you go into a commercial space and you see the work, the finished work that they do, it is excellent. It is top tier. And so I have to say, hats off to All Style Construction for maintaining the level of excellence. And because I'm listening to what you just said in terms of making sure that you operate above a particular level, again, because of our background, in terms of people are going to say, okay, let me see what these guys can do. But when you show up and you show up with excellence, it's marvelous. So folks, jump onto their website and take a look at this company and see what they have done right here in Edmonton. And guess what? They don't only operate in Edmonton, they're right across Canada. This question was not there, but I want you to tell me a little bit about your extensive work outside of Edmonton.
right. So, one of our clients is a national brand, so we do a lot of work with them, and we've developed a strong relationship over the years. Just because they operate at that higher level as well, and we were able to, and a lot of times they give us a lot of the tasks that a lot of other companies can't handle. And not saying because we're better than anybody else, but just our motto, like how we get jobs done. Like, we kind of go in there with the mindset, okay, we're just going to get this thing done. And that's something that really helps us to excel in certain areas where we kind of carved out our own kind of niche. So kind of what we'll do is we'll show up with a crew of like 20 guys, and we'll just go hard and just bang out the job and get it done, which is not necessarily the norm in different parts of the country. So that kind of process of how we approach our jobs has allowed us to kind of branch out to different jobs, because they realize the benefit of, okay, if these guys come in and get it done, they'll get it done quicker than if we use a local crew. And, a lot of times, because like I said, a lot of the jobs that we do are banks, and it's very time critical and time sensitive, right? So we'll do they call it like a shutdown. So they'll shut down the bank for 2 weeks, and we'll do literally 2-3 months worth of work within a 2-3 week span, right? So that's something that it gets really crazy. It's really intense to see, but that's something that we saw that challenge, rose to that challenge, and it's helped us to kind of grow immensely, right? So that's kind of how we've been able to kind of do work across Canada because of how we approach the work, right?
I love it. Someone just chimed in the chat and said, All Style Construction is a cut above the rest. And folks, can I tell you how proud I am of this company? Because not only because I'm affiliated with them, but because when I tell you, just go on the website and look at the work that they have done over the years. Absolutely marvelous. So, to all our listeners from across the nations of the world, we have to big up these guys whenever we get the opportunity, whenever we see someone operating at a level of excellence, call it out, shout it out, and say, hey, good job, because we don't see this every day. And because they're representing the Black community here in Edmonton, we're absolutely proud of what they are doing and how they are waving that flag to say, hey, we can do it and we do it well, not only in Edmonton, but we do it in BC. They're in Ontario. They are where else?
You're in PI right now.
All right, you're in PEI right now.
Yeah,
I want you to give listen, I know that you guys go to almost every province. And this is what I love about this company. Once they are able to, can I tell you, they send these guys out and they do the job. All right, I'm seeing another person chiming in. And I think he's in Jamaica right now. And he says they really do great work. Proud of them. All right. So thank you. Thank you, Timothy. All right. So Timothy says they really do good work. And he's so proud of you guys. And another person says, oh, you guys are in Manitoba. You've gone to Manitoba also?
Yeah, we've been there, yeah.
All right. All right. I see that the listeners are remembering what you guys have been doing. And so we're absolutely proud of the representation. All right. So you talked about the excellent service that you guys bring to the table and how you actually go at it. But in your own words, what is unique about your business?
Right. So that's a good question. So I did kind of touch about it earlier, where kind of one of the things that we've done, Clive and myself, we've done is like, I'm not going to ask somebody to work long hours and work hard if I'm not willing to do that myself. Right. So we kind of have the example where we kind of lead by example, where if we're willing to, if we want these guys to get this thing done, we have to show them that we're ourselves are willing to do that. And by that, guys will respect that, we're not asking to do something that we wouldn't do ourselves. So that's one thing. We also make it a personal thing to kind of make sure that we try our best to respect everybody that works with us and try and keep everybody, let everybody feel like they're equal and we make the work environment feel safe. Sometimes we've had meetings and we got feedback, and that we try and respect everybody as much as possible. Because at the end of the day, we treat it as this, we put ourselves in the other person, because we've all worked for companies, and you know what it's like when you work for a good company and a bad company. So we want to try our best to try and be that company where people want to work for us. They want to show up, because at the end of the day, the goal is everyone wants to take care of the family, want to take care of the bills, make sure everything's covered, right? So we want to make sure that we give an environment that guys can feel safe. They enjoy working. That's a big thing too. It's hard to work if you don't enjoy working, right? So it's hard to ask somebody to work like a 15-hour shift or something like that if they're not enjoying it. It's gonna be hard to do, right? So the main thing is that making everybody feel comfortable, safe at work, so they can do their job with excellence. They can feel respected. That's the thing. So that's how we're able to kind of get guys to produce at a high level. Yeah, so that's one of the main things that we do, that we focus on. Actually, the other thing is too is that I don't really pay attention to money. Like, money is great, but end of the day, we've done jobs in the past where we've actually paid to finish the job, where it's like, because end of the day, integrity is more than everything to me. So maintaining integrity. If I say I'm going to do it, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to try my best to fulfill that, right? So sometimes by doing that, sometimes you make promises and you realize, okay, you know what, we got to get this job done, but there's no more money left on the job, whatever. At that point, you have to make a decision. Okay, guys have walked away from jobs. We've never walked away from a job. So that's one thing that we really pride ourselves in, that we've always, regardless of whatever, we've always seen the job through, how horrible it's going or whatever the case may be, or whatever is not working right. We always try our best to see the job through, never not completed a job. So that's one thing I would say that actually I take pride in that, actually.
Okay, wonderful. I'm hearing some key words here in your answers, and I am absolutely loving it. I'm hearing the word integrity, I'm hearing the word excellence. And it's not every day that you come across a company that you will hear these words, and not only from the owner of the company, but I'm sure that when we speak to the clients that you have, I'm sure that they will be using the same words, integrity, because if this wasn't there, you wouldn't be called back, right? So there's
Okay.
integrity and there's excellence, and I'm absolutely loving it. So folks, we're talking to Fitzroy Barnett. He is the co-owner of ALLSTYLE Construction, and it's a construction company right here in Edmonton, Alberta, and they are showing black excellence. They're showing integrity in how they operate in what they do, and we want to thank them for continually just lifting the bar, raising the bar with each and every job that they do. But Fitzroy, what motivates you?
What motivates me? Ah, you know what? What really motivates me is actually, you and I talked about this earlier. Like, I'm project driven, I'm project oriented. So for me, like if I'm doing something around the house, I'm like, okay, I'm going to see this thing, I want to get this thing done, and I try and map it out. So it's actually really fulfilling to be able to like see something, to have a discussion about something, a project, or write it down, start doing drawings, whatever, and then you go from just okay conversation to to completion. That's very fulfilling, so that's very motivating actually. And the thing is, you're not doing the same thing every day, so that within itself is pretty motivating, I would say. So that would be one more motivation. My other motivation is like my family at the end of the day, because it's like we do this so that we can provide for our family. We can have something that our family can have a son. So if he later on decides that he wants to continue in the construction or what we're doing, then at least there's a foundation laid for him, right? He has that option, right? So being able to do that, those things are definitely motivations in what we do. So for me personally.
Okay, okay, wonderful. We're hearing it right here, folks, on HGG Radio. We're talking to the COO and partner in ALLSTYLE Construction. Again, I want to say good morning and greetings to all the attendees of the Canada District Council. They're having their spring conference, and that is happening in Mississauga, Ontario. And we know that he mentioned his partner, Clive, who is also Pastor Clive, and he is in attendance in Ontario right now to this conference. And so we want to greet everyone that's out there for this conference right now. And we know that you guys are being blessed. And if you're listening, we thank you also for joining in the conversation this morning on HGG Radio. All right. So you talked about, you know, getting to do what you want to do in a timely manner. You can decide what you want to do, but I want you to tell me, what does a routine day look like for you?
Depends on the day. Depends on the day. So depends what's going on, because we have times when we're extremely busy, when we have like many jobs going on, or we be out of town. So trying to manage jobs out of town and in town. But for the most part, I'll get up, do whatever I have to do at home. I'll visit whatever sites we have locally happening, do my rounds, make sure everybody has what they have, just touch base with the team, with the guys on site. I'll connect with clients. I wear a bunch of different hats, so it really depends on the day. Like I don't have my routine's not the same every day. So which is I kind of like it that way, because if I had the same routine, that'd be kind of boring. So but every day is something different, right? So sometimes we're bidding on jobs and we're coordinating new jobs. And, we have meetings with clients. We're meeting with suppliers, meeting with the guys on site to make sure everything's going good. Just everything. And so it's kind of hard to say. I don't have a straight up routine. I like going to the gym though. I make that a good part of my routine, because what I've found in doing this is that energy level kind of can drop tremendously, especially when you can just find yourself going, going, going. One of the things when you have your own business and you're doing your own thing is this is the main thing I noticed from when I used to work for somebody versus when I'm working for myself. When you're working with somebody, you're generally watching the clock. Oh, it's only 2 o'clock. It's only 4 o'clock. Oh, I'm get to go home. But when you're doing your own thing, honestly, when you blink, it's like 2 o'clock. I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to get done? So sometimes you have to really be fighting to kind of accomplish what you want to get done for the day. So it's good and bad, but yeah, my routine differs, but I try my best to try and be as most productive in the day as possible.
Okay, okay. Sounds like a well-oiled machine. All right. So, and you have to, I like how you make sure that you put that gym work in, because persons have to understand that you set aside time, you prioritize, and it's good that you set aside that time to go into the gym. All right. So, Fitzroy, you mentioned in the beginning, you guys started out with basements, and you mentioned going across the country to different provinces doing, you mentioned the bank, you mentioned other commercial spaces, but what are all the services that you guys offer?
Right. So we'll do everything. So, well, not everything. I'll rephrase that. Our specialty is what we specialize is like interior construction. So we'll run the sites, we'll do demolition, we'll do framing, we'll do drywall, we'll do painting, we'll do flooring, we'll do like T-bar work. We'll hang doors. We'll do specialty millwork. We have an in-house millwork shop, so we'll do cabinets and all those type of things. So yeah, we specialize in interior work. We don't do too much exterior because that's just not really our thing. But our main thing is interior work, interior construction. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. So I made sure to put that one in because I know that we have persons listening from right across the country here in Canada. I know we have persons listening in Kelowna. I know we have persons listening in Ontario. I know we have persons listening in Regina. I know I see them jumping on now. And so right now we're talking to the COO and a partner of All Style Construction. And so, if you are a business owner and you're looking to do some renovation to your company and you're looking for the ideal company, a company with integrity, a company that has excellent, excellent workmanship, look no further. I know I'm going to say, can I tell you? I can tell you that this company is a company that is a cut above the rest, not only because I know them, but because I have seen their work. And he is not lying. They do put in the work. And you know what I love about this company also? He is the COO, and he mentioned his partner, Pastor Clive, who is away. The same amount of work that the guys do, you're going to see them toe to toe with them. They're not going to sit in an office and send out everybody and say, go do my bidding. They jump in when it needs to be done. And so I absolutely love that part about it because you see, the thing is, when you see persons doing that, it gives you the motivation. It gives you the drive to say, hey, this is not my company, but I just love the work ethics of these guys and I'm going to do my best. And so, anyone out there that's listening to me under the sound of my voice, hey, and I'm telling you that you're looking to do some renovations, look no further. I do not testify a lie. Look no further. All Style Construction is the place to come. And I can tell you that you're going to get your money's worth. I'm seeing something. Oh, okay. So Pastor Clive, I'm gonna say Pastor Clive because you're at you're at the conference, sir. He just jumped on and he said, "We will build from scratch." So I think yes, we will build from scratch as well. All right. So not only interior, but he
All right,
jumped.
brother.
He jumped on to say we will build from scratch. So in the event we have some builders out there listening And I know that we're live on Facebook and I know we're live on YouTube. So persons will be sharing this broadcast in the future. And you watch this sometime in the future and you intend on building All Style Construction. I just got it from the partner. All right. So look no further. All right. So we talked about the excellent service, we talked about the integrity. But how do you advertise the business?
Currently, we don't advertise. It's mainly word of mouth that we do. You know, when we first started out, we used to do. Funny enough, we used to do everything. We used to do flyers. We used to do signs on the side of the road. I remember back in the day, we used to do that. We've done advertisements in newspapers. We do have social media. We do have some stuff on social media, but we don't really advertise that much, to be truthful. So, just to kind of segue what Clive was saying, we are actually we are expanding and branding into new construction as well too. Like we have new divisions that we're opening, so you kind of drop that there. But yeah, currently we don't really advertise. It's mainly word of mouth. And then all the stuff we've been doing is word of mouth. So yeah, I guess our work speaks for itself. And then when you do good work, well, work gets work, right? So if you're doing good work, it's going to create more work, right? People are going to be like, okay, they're going to talk and it's going to create opportunities. So currently we don't do much advertising. Our majority of the stuff is word of mouth, just referrals from other clients and stuff like that. So
That speaks for itself. Work, the work of excellence. It speaks for itself because when you walk into a space and you look at the quality that is done, you say, hey, who did this work? You know, and sometimes when the client looks at it, it's like, oh my goodness. You know, they often say that the referral is actually the best way to advertise because oftentimes persons say, you know, you go to a restaurant and when you have a very good experience, you go and you tell everyone about the man. I went to that restaurant and the service was great, the food was great, and you tell it to everyone, you know, I'm looking forward to going back there. And so it's the same thing with this company here that when you see the work that they do, you're going to tell someone that, hey, yeah, they did this. And so it speaks for itself. So we're going to wrap up now. And I want to thank you so much, Fitzroy, for taking some time out of your busy schedule, being here with us on HGG Radio. Again, I want to say good morning, good afternoon to all the listeners from across the nations of the world. I'm looking at the countries that are here with us this morning. I see the US of A, I see Jamaica, I see Canada and the UK. And I want to say good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're listening from. Indeed, we know that it is a privilege to have you with us here on HGG Radio. And I thank you for listening to the segment Let's Talk Business. We have our guest with us this morning in the person of the COO and partner of ALLSTYLE Construction, construction company right here in Edmonton, Alberta. But guess what? They represent all across Canada. And I want to thank you for coming in this morning and having this discussion with me. And so, folks, you know, go onto their website, look at what they have done. And again, remember, if you're in Canada, you know, and you're looking to do something, look no further. Fitzroy, I'm going to hand it over to you. I'm going to give you about 4 minutes to summarize. Tell us anything else that you want to tell us. The floor is yours.
okay. Well, thanks for having me on your show, Odette. Appreciate it. You know, you said some stuff. I was like, oh, okay, all right, that's what she's thinking. All right, that's good. Some positive feedback, so that's good. That's always good to hear. Know that you work for many years, and you kind of just later on you see the fruits of your labor. You kind of see things are starting to happen. Things are moving. It is encouraging. It is a blessing, right? Because it's all our strength comes from God, right? So end of the day, I thank God for His goodness and His mercies for allowing us to get to this part. Because even during pandemic, many companies closed the doors. We never closed our doors. We still kept guys working. So that was a blessing. So end of the day, we want to just be grateful for what God has given us and what the ability He's given us to um, build and to help others to have gainful employment, right? So that is a blessing. What I would say is for anybody who's trying to start business, um, it is hard. It is hard, and you have to have that passion, determination. Because there's gonna be days when you want to quit. You're like, this is not working out. I don't. Let me do something else. But you have to have that passion, determination to say, okay, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to persevere. And end of the day, one thing I always realize that success happens when hard work meets opportunity, right? So if you stay consistent, you work hard, eventually the opportunity is going to come and you're going to be like, wow, then things are going to really start happening for you. You're going to start seeing you're not really struggling so much anymore. You're now kind of switched it from more struggle to more, okay, you know what? I feel I'm getting traction. I'm getting somewhere. And just being consistent, right? That's the hardest thing, right? Because a lot of times I know a lot of guys who started business and as soon as it gets hard, or things aren't working out, it is, I understand a lot of times it's financially could be challenging. But a lot of times guys, they'll give up when they realize it starts to get hard. Sometimes you have to make a lot of sacrifices, even financially. I was kind of blessed in the way where I started before I had a family. I had a whole bunch of different commitments. So it was easier to kind of make that sacrifice. But it doesn't mean it can't happen. It can happen for anybody. You just have to have that hard work and that determination, and it will work out eventually. That's it. So that's all I have to say.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the words of encouragement to those that are looking to start, because you see, the thing is, it when you have someone ahead of you that has walked the mile, and you look at what they have gone through and what they are enduring and how they are persevering, it encourages you, because you say, you know what, I'm looking at these guys and they have been doing it for quite a number of years and they have endured. One thing that I absolutely love that you interjected, because I didn't even mention it, you mentioned God. Folks, this is a Christian company. This is a Christian company. So the environment, it is awesome when you put Jesus at the center of everything, because then he begins to open doors. So thank you so much, Fitzroy, for coming in. And so I'm seeing Clive is saying, love you, my brother. I thank God for you. All right. So he jumped on and he said that. Stephanie said, great job, Fitzroy. You sell your company well. Wishing you all the best. And she also said, awesome last nuggets. Great encouragement. Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Pastor Clive.
So thank you to all our HGG listeners for jumping on this morning for the segment. Uh, Let's talk business. We have in studio with us this morning, our special guest from ALLSTYLE Construction, COO and partner, Fitzroy Barnett, and he talked to us about the different aspects of operating a business and how God has kept them, and maintaining a level of integrity and excellence is essential in what they do. So again, folks, jump onto their website, look at some of the stuff that they have done. And again, wherever you are in Canada and you're looking for a company, you're looking to build, you're looking to renovate, go no further. ALLSTYLE Construction is the company to call. And as I said, they'll come to you, right? Yes, they are located, they're based in Edmonton, Alberta, but they will come to you. All right. So thank you again, Fitzroy. And indeed, it was an honor. Indeed, it was a privilege having you here. And to all the listeners from across the nations of the world, thank you so much for making it HGG Radio. Yes, I thank you so much to all our viewers from across the nations of the world for jumping onto Facebook, jumping onto YouTube this morning for our segment, Let's Talk Business. We had a very special guest this morning in the house, and it was a wonderful conversation. And it's so great to highlight these companies when they are performing at a level of excellence. Sometimes you need to see it and call it out, and not just stay in your corner and smile, but say, hey guys, you're doing a fantastic job. And so this morning our special guest was COO and partner in All Style Construction, Fitzroy Barnett. It was great having him here with me this morning. And so we're going to jump off of Facebook. We're going to jump off of YouTube. But thank you so much for staying with us for the interview. We're going to jump back over to the radio segment and we're going to continue our Thursday. And today is Throwback Thursday. So for those of you who are going to be with me, and I hope it's all of you, I want you to jump onto WhatsApp. It's 825 3434 4486. 825 343 4486. It's Throwback Thursday. When you jump onto that WhatsApp number, just let me know what songs you would love for me to play for the remaining portion of the morning flow. Indeed, it was an honor and a privilege being here with you on Facebook and on YouTube. Jump on over to the radio where we will continue the morning flow. I'm your host, Odette Thompson, and see you on the radio side.